Good morning, dear students. Today we have taken a very important story, a very realistic story, written by an Indian writer and Einstein. She has just explained her ideas. She has focused on a very basic issue of life. That is about child labor. And she has given the name of this story, the title is The Lost Spring. We will have to understand first the meaning of this title. Is the title of this story justified? Is it a suitable title for this story? When we go through this story and we read the events which take place in this story, the incidents which had happened and the author herself had just experienced those events, then we will come to the conclusion that the title Lost Spring is a very suitable title. It is very justified. So let us talk about title first. Lost Spring. It's a very symbolic title in itself. A spring, it is just said that lost spring. A spring, we all understand that the spring is a season that is considered to be the best of the seasons. It is a blooming season. It is a very joyous season. In the spring season, everything appears to be very, very beautiful, very green, very fresh. It just gives the indication of bright future, all that. But here the title is Lost. When the spring is lost, actually, the author compares this spring to the childhood. Childhood is the spring of life. The childhood is the best time of life. As spring is the best season. So when spring is lost, it means childhood is lost. It is a story actually of stories of stolen childhood. The book that she has written on this trend is named as Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. And this story here that we have to read in class 12 is an excerpt taken from that very story, that very book, Stories of Stolen Childhood. So, Lost Spring. So, what happens when the innocence, the beauty of childhood is lost? And we see this big discrimination in the society, that how the children of the poor class, they suffer. They lose their beauty of the childhood. They do not avail those opportunities of the childhood as the children of the rich class avail. And that is why the problem of child labor comes in our life, in our society. We see how children working without going to the school. They just work in factories. They work in the houses, domestic works, here and there, in dangerous areas, in dangerous zones, they work. And they are deprived of especially all the facilities of life, especially schooling. That is very important for the children to become a very good citizen in later of their life. They just lose those opportunities. So here the writer's focus is, she has taken two stories here. One story that she takes in which the main character is Sahib Alam. There are two parts of this story. One story belongs to actually Simapuri. The setting of this is Simapuri. There is another part of this story that we shall discuss later. First, let us take the first part of this story, where the main character is Sahib Alam, and the setting of this story is Simapuri, that is in the periphery of Delhi, but metaphorically it appears to be far away from Delhi, though it is in the periphery of Delhi. And this story is based on the author's own experience on her personal experience. That is why at the beginning I told you that this story is a real story, the real experience of the author herself. What she saw, the things that she experienced, she met herself, she encountered those problems of the children, and she even talked. She made her interactions with them, and after that, the picture that appeared was really very painful picture that she has depicted in this story. The first is the Seema Puri. Actually, her meeting with Saib Alam, that is a child, Saib Alam, who just lives in the neighborhood. A neighborhood, once the writer finds that boy scrounging in the garbage. Saib Alam is a rag picker actually, and he with his friends just wandered here and there, just doing the job of rag picking. In the first meeting with Saib Alam, the writer asks Saib Alam, "What are you doing? Why do you do this kind of thing?" Then Saib Alam, that rag picker boy, says that I have nothing else to do. That is why I do this job of rag picking. So she asked, "Why don't you go to school?" Then he replied that because there is no school around me, around just my house, and that is why I just do this kind of rag picking, because I don't have the facility of going to school. So then she said, if I build a school, will you come? Will you join there? He thought and said, "Yes, I will join. I will come to school." And after some days, that boy came just running to her one day and asked, "Is your school ready?" And then the author was very hesitant, because she had said this, when I will build this school, will you come to join my school? She had just said it out of fun, just without thinking much about it. But when the boy came to her, just asking about the building of the school, it really very much touched the writer. And she thought that what a false promise she had made to the boy, without thinking much about that. And she thought that promises like this are abound in the corners of this boy's life. Many people come and make promises, but the promises are never actually fulfilled. So promises remain only promises. They are not just turned into reality. So the writer just asks the name of the boy that day, and he said that his name is Saib Alam. And the author was very much surprised to hear this name Saib Alam, because the meaning of this name, the word is the Lord of the universe. And the boy does not mean it, does not know the meaning of it. And if it is said to him that this is the meaning of your name, he would hardly believe it. What irony is there in this name? Saib Alam, the Lord of the universe, doing the work of rag picking. This is the condition. This is very much ironic. The boy would not believe that this is the meaning of his name. But the writer just goes on just having talk with the boy and his friends. There are so many friends who take their bags, their plastic bags, and just run from here and there. And without chappals, they are barefooted boys. They are the group of barefooted boys there in the cities or on the streets of the village. Everywhere in India, it is found the band of the group of the barefooted boys. Just they run, they wander, doing this work of rag picking and scrounging something in the garbage. Actually, Saib Alam and his just other friends, the writer makes her encounter with others also. Just once who is not wearing chappal, and when she asked about not wearing the chappal, he just the other said that he is not wearing chappal because he said that my mother would not just bring it down from the shelf But the other said that even if she just brought it out of the cell, he would not wear, because it is not in the tradition to wear chappals. This is just the pretension, but actually the fact is the poverty. They are living in a grinding poverty, a life of exploitation. These boys and their families, they live in Simapuri actually, and Sahiba Alam also just communicated to the author that he has come from Bangladesh. His family has come from Bangladesh because there the storm or other kinds of natural calamities, they destroy their fields, their homes, their houses, and that is why they live in very poor condition there in Bangladesh, and that is why the families migrated from Bangladesh and came to Simapuri. There are so many families. They are actually expatriates illegally. They are living in Simapuri in a very, very poor condition. No facilities, no basic facilities of life, no sewerage, no water supply, no electricity facility. But they do not have any kind of identity also. They do not have any kind of permission to live there. But however, they have made ration card, and because of that, they have got their name in the voter list also. And because of the ration card, they get some food, they get some corns, and for their survival. They do not have to take anything from identity, because for survival, food is more important than any kind of identity. Survival, food is required. No, identity has no meaning for those people who get their food in a very hard condition, and that is why identity has no meaning for them. But in a very poor condition, this family, and they live just the pitch tents here and there. They make transit homes, and in Simapuri, living in Simapuri, survival in Simapuri means rag picking. The elders of the families also, they just do this work of rag picking. Just they pick rag just from here and there, and just make a heap of garbage, and they just earn their livelihoods from there. Just they build a very poor house, just a roof on their house, just even though it is a leaking roof, but they just live in such condition. And the children, they are the partners in their survival. They also do this rag picking, and sometimes they scrounge the garbage and find sometimes 1 rupee, sometimes 10 rupees, sometimes a silver coin there. So rag picking is a job for the elders. It is a means to get food. But for children, it is wrapped in wonder, because they go on scrounging with the thinking in the mind that they might get some just money there. So for children, this scrounging of the garbage dumps is wrapped in wonder. One day, I just encountered with Sahiba Alam, because Sahiba Alam was just standing at the fence of a club just in the neighborhood, and was watching two men in white dress just playing tennis. And he was also wearing just odd tennis shoes that was actually left by some rich boy, because there was a hole in one of the shoes, and he was wearing. Okay, it was very odd, and a colorless shorts and just shirts he was wearing, and he was watching the two men playing tennis. The writer just met Sahiba Alam and found that he was very intently watching the two men playing tennis. And when asked, he just expressed his thought about that, and he said that he also wanted to play actually tennis. And he was wearing tennis shoes, actually, as I told you, left by some boy. So he had the just interest in playing tennis, though it is not in his reach, but he wants to play tennis. So how can such boy fulfill their desires? There is no chance of fulfilling their desires, because one day when she, after some days, when she met Sahiba Alam, she found that he was going to a just milk booth with a just a steel canister in his hand. And when she asked him, then that day Sahib Alam said that now I have joined a tea shop. There is that tea shop and he works there, and the owner of the tea shop gives him 800 rupees salary per month and 3 times meal, and that is why he is going to the milk booth to just fetch milk from there. But there was not a carefree look on his face while he was replying to the question of the other. There was no carefree look, because this steel canister was just appearing to be heavier than the plastic bag that he carried just on his shoulder. Because this steel canister is of the owner of the milk of the tea shop, but the plastic bag that he carried was his own. He was the master of that. But now he had just lost his own choice, and he's working as a child labor. Just he is doing the work of a child labor in the tea shop and just earning some money from there. Because the family needs money. Anyhow, the children are just doing the rag picking, or when they just grow up somewhat, they are forced to just go to some shop or to some industry, join there, earn some money for the family. Because this is required for the survival of the family. And the children's support also required. They are not just given the facility to go to school, because for them it is not possible that their guardians or their parents will send them to school for just getting education. This is not possible in the life of these boys. And that is why they are forced to do this kind of job, a grinding property, and the tradition that just compel them to live a life like that is the life of exploitation. So it just evokes such a picture, such a pathetic picture of the children just losing their actually spring of life. Sahib Alam and his colleagues seeing the condition of the children, their work of the children, and the plight in which they are just living, that really just depicts a very painful picture for us and for our society, and it is to be corrected. Actually, the society, the government, all of the people just have to, the rich people have to show their, not only simply sympathy, but they will have to help them and do something to take them out of this condition. So the spring of the children should not be spoiled. Because childhood, once a person gets in his life, it's just a life of joy, a phase of joy. But if that is lost, if childhood is lost, it appears to be that everything is lost. Because what Wordsworth says, child is the father of man. If childhood is spoiled, because whatever you learn, whatever you get, what ideas or what just the basic facilities or the foundation you just get in childhood, that continues throughout your life. If that foundation is not made of life, that is childhood, if it is not made solid, then the life will not stand just in a strong position. So childhood is to be made strong. But that is not in the fate of these children, the poor children. This is a very, very ugly picture of society. It is to be corrected. If it is not corrected, then the future of not only the children, not only of the society, but the whole country is going to be bad in future. It is not going to have a bright future, even for the country. That is why the focus is to be made as the writer has understood the problem of the children, and she has just highlighted this issue in the society by writing this story. Writing this story means highlighting the problem of of these children, the condition of these children, the condition of their families. So if it is not first, if it is, the people do not actually, the government do not actually show the attention towards just taking them out of this worst condition, then the picture finally in future is not going to be favorable for the whole country. So this is the one part of this story, Lost Spring. There is another part of this story also, and that is the story of Mukesh, and that's the setting of that story will be the Firozabad, just another town of India, and we shall discuss about that next day. Thank you very much for today.